Good evening, universe. Tonight I'm going to be talking all about what I hope and what I expect to see in the new School for Good and Evil movie that's going to be coming out on Netflix in about a month from when I'm filming this. So I think it comes out on October 20th, and I am so excited. I really enjoyed the School for Good and Evil books. These were written by Soman Chainani, and I have done a couple of videos on various things about them so far. Basically, what these books are about, if you're not familiar with them, is there are two girls who live in this small village called Gavaldon. It's like a town, and this takes place in a fantasy world, and every handful of years, two kids get stolen from the village and they go to the School for Good and Evil. One of them is a model child who is beautiful and well-mannered and everybody loves them. And the other one is kind of a gross, weird brat type of kid that nobody likes and that is mean to everyone. You've got your two archetypes. You've got your good kid and your bad kid. So our protagonists are Agatha and Sophie. Sophie knows she is way too good for this town, this small town with all of its small dreams, and she wants to get out of here. So she wants to make sure that she is beautiful and wonderful enough at heart to be able to be taken to the School for Good. So she is already pretty sure that she has this beauty thing on lock. She has this long, beautiful blonde hair that she prizes so much and these really stunning green eyes, and she is sure that she looks exactly like a good heroine should look. So the only thing that she feels that she needs is maybe being a little bit better as a person, so she does good deeds. And one of her good deeds is being friends with Agatha. And Agatha is a spooky weirdo who lives in a graveyard and is generally disliked by the town. She's considered very strange and unpleasant. She wears big frumpy black clothes and she has these huge clumps that she always wears. She stomps around places. She carries dead bird heads left for her by her cat around in her pockets. She is not popular, but Sophie is like, okay, if anybody needs a friend, it's Agatha, and being friends with her, even though she's so weird, definitely counts as a good deed. So Sophie's dreams come true when a giant skeletal bird comes and kidnaps her to take her to the School for Good and Evil. But as she's being kidnapped, Agatha witnesses it and tries to save her, which only leads to Agatha also coming with her. And so that's how they end up getting to the School for Good and Evil. And right away, something occurs, which is called in the book The Great Mistake, which is where Agatha gets dropped at the School for Good and Sophie gets dropped at the School for Evil. From there, basically, Sophie is trying to convince the school that this is all wrong. She is supposed to be in School for Good. Agatha is definitely supposed to be in the School for Evil. And so the book kind of unfolds from there. I don't want to go into too much because that stuff happens at the beginning and I don't want to give anything away for those of you that haven't read it. So the major thing that I'm really excited for and really hoping to see is the spectacle of the school. One of the things I loved the most from the books was seeing all the descriptions of this incredibly magical school, because you have basically, there's like two halves of the school, and one half is the School for Evil, obviously, and then there's like a body of water, and then there's a bridge that connects them, and then you have the School for Good. And the School for Good is like all pink and blue and light and airy. It's very open and beautiful. You've got the like glass towers and lots of wonder and whimsy over there. And then at the School for Evil, it's spiky, it's spooky, it's dark, it's dank. I think even the water is different around the School for Evil. It's like gross water, whereas the School for Good has like beautiful, clean, pristine water. And if you haven't seen the trailer, the School for Evil is basically where fairy tale villains are trained to become villains, and the School for Good is where princesses and princes are trained trained to be the heroes of their story. So it's a really fun series. It plays with a lot of fairy tale tropes, and I really enjoyed it. So the main thing that I'm really excited to see is the absolute spectacle of the schools. There's this forest that is completely blue. All the plants in it are blue. I really want to see that. And I really want to see, there's this hall in the School for Good that is made completely out of candy. I would love to see the candy hall. I think that would be great. I think this is a really good book to adapt to the screen just because there's so much visual stuff. There are so many visuals that would be really cool to see in action. This book, the first book, is also my favorite out of the series, so I'm really excited that it's getting an adaptation. I do have a couple of things that I'm a little bit nervous about. I was surprised to see that we're getting so many like kind of big celebrities in this. We have Lawrence Fishburne is going to be in it. I think he's probably going to be playing August Sater, who is one of the teachers at the school and a mentor figure. And then we also have Charlize Theron. I think she's going to be playing the Dean of Evil. If so, I absolutely love that character. Her name is Lady Lesso, and I'm very excited to see that. Kate Young, who you might know as Jesper from Six of Crows, is going to be playing Rafal. And I can't explain to you who that is without giving away spoilers, but I am really excited. I think he's going to do a great job as that character. I think that's a great casting, and I'm really excited for that. As for our leads, obviously they're going to be younger, so they're not well known or anything yet. From the trailers and like the teaser trailer and stuff like that, I didn't really get a sense of the characters that I know from the book, from Agatha and Sophie. Sophie to me seemed a little bit more meek than the way that I envision her. Hello! So I'm just popping in here because today, which is September the 24th, I was in the midst of editing this, and in my YouTube feed there popped up a new, not trailer, but clip from the movie for The School for Good and Evil. So I just wanted to say I watched it, and it's definitely giving me a lot more of the Sophie characterization that I was looking for. This clip was obviously all about Sophie. It was extremely dramatic, but I felt that that was perfectly in line with Sophie's character. I loved it. We also got a little bit more of Tedros, which was exciting. Tedros? I always feel like I'm saying his name incorrectly. But we got a little bit more of him and kind of gawping after Sophie, which also feels very accurate. And when I was looking up information about the movie, I saw that Soman Chainani, the writer of the books, is actually one of the screenplay writers as well. So that gives me a lot of hope that it's going to follow the books pretty similarly, or that it will mirror the books as best it can, being in a different media. And now I'm even more excited for our movie with the characterization of Sophie that we saw there and the general vibe of the movie. I'm pretty excited. We also saw a tiny snippet of the Coven that plays a pretty important role in all of the books, so I'm excited to see more of them. The snippet looked really good. The clip, that is, looked really good and gave me a lot of hope. So I just wanted to pop that in here where I was having doubts about Sophie's characterization. I am feeling really positive about them now. So that was all. Back to Past Me. And the girl playing Agatha is so beautiful. And I know that they weren't really going to cast like a plain or average looking person to play Agatha, even though one of the main things of the start of the book is that Agatha is ugly, especially compared to gorgeous Sophie. But I am hoping that they'll sort of play up her lack of confidence about her appearance and maybe make her dress a little bit more plainly before she leaves Gavaldon. They have uniforms at the school, so obviously she's going to be dressed a certain way once they get there. But I am really hoping that at least before that she is a little bit more dowdy, and maybe they do her makeup in a little bit of a more unflattering way. That is kind of a major plot point in the story, is Agatha's appearance and the way that she is perceived by other people. So I hope they play that up. Hoping and expecting that they're going to keep the ending from the book as it is. I feel like endings are one of the places where adaptations often like change things to wrap them up a little bit more neatly, especially with book series. But I feel like the ending from book one could stand all on its own. So I really hope and imagine that they'll keep it as it is, especially because it's just such a good ending. And so I really hope they keep it as it is. Now I'm going to get into light spoilers. I'm just going to describe a couple of things that happen a little bit later in the book. I'm not going to be super obvious about them or anything like that. I'll be pretty vague, so you're probably safe, but I know some people really want to go into it fresh, so this is your warning for that. Okay, so I am really hoping there is this one girl, Hester, who has a demon tattooed on her neck, and all the villains have like a special power, a talent. And Hester's talent is that she can make the demon come off of her throat and become an actual demon that fights for her. I really want to see that. I think we got a glimpse of it in the trailer, so that was really exciting. I am hoping to see a lot of the talents, actually. There's this one point where they kind of show off a whole bunch of their talents. It's part of the school curriculum, and there is a certain magical howl that occurs, so I really hope we get to see that in action. It's such a good scene, so I'm really hoping for that. And at the end, we get a series of really terrifying transformations from certain characters, and I really hope they play that up and make it very scary and horrifying. Even if it's not exactly as described in the book, I hope they go really dramatic with it. And that's the end of my little spoilers section. I think the runtime is like 2.5 hours, and that's pretty long, which is great because a lot of things happen in this book, and I really think they need all that time to build up the character and do all the world building and all of the many, because this book is extremely fast paced and it is not short, especially for like a first book. So I was excited to see that. I initially thought it was going to be a show. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought it was going to be a show, and I think that would have been a little bit better because then maybe each season can be like 2 books and then all of the books can be covered. But I imagine they feel that they're taking a little bit more of a risk with this property because it's not as popular or as well known as some other things. So it does make sense that they're going with a movie. And with such a long runtime, I am hopeful that they'll get the major plot beats and the essence of the characters and the story. Like I said, really the only thing I'm nervous about are the portrayals of Agatha and Sophie. And other than that, I'm just really excited actually to see this brought to life. I kind of forgot it was happening also until a friend had brought it up and said like, oh, you know, I've seen like a trailer for this. I heard you mention these books. And so I'm really glad that he brought that up so that I could look at the trailer and everything. And now I'm so excited. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Are you excited for this adaptation? Are you thinking it's going to be good? What are we thinking? How are we feeling? Because I'm excited. I think Netflix did a solid job for the most part with the Six of Crows adaptation. So I'm feeling pretty excited about it. And that's pretty much all I have to say for now. So let me know what you guys are thinking about the trailer, whether you think the movie's going to be good. And most importantly, have a great night, universe.